Yep, I'm currently on top of the Hoth rebel base instead of being inside it. How did I do this? Let me tell you. The story begins in a small town on the remote desert planet Tatooine. It begins on Mos Eisley. As you might have guessed by now, I've been playing some Battlefront 2 lately, mostly co-op missions, because I suck at this game. After some playing around with the AT-ST on the before mentioned map, I managed to get stuck in a building. That was when I realized AT-STs are pretty buggy. I would say they have some unique properties regarding their movement. The reason the AT-ST, or any movable game object, doesn't fall through the floor but can stand on it, is because both the floor and the AT-ST have a hitbox that detects their collision. I assume that they don't just have a square hitbox, but actually use their feet to determine their position. And when you spam the WASD keys and rotate the walker with the mouse, you can trick those feet to glitch to positions higher up that they are not actually supposed to go to. With this method you can reach locations you normally couldn't reach with a walker or even by foot. This way I can, for example, bomb the hangar with the last command post from the roof of a nearby building. Although you can't really aim and it's not effective at all, it's still a fun thing to do. You can also go to command post B on Agent Claws with both the First Order and the Resistance AT-ST. Here you actually can be pretty overpowered. Although it's just a small wall and not really an obstacle for the walker, I don't think you were expected to use an AT-ST here, as you also can't select it in this phase when you respawn. So far so good, but now for the really interesting part. How is that helping us to get out of bounds on Hoth? The answer is simple. It doesn't. I just found this out of bounds bug out whilst trying to glitch my way up the mountain with the previously described method. So how does it work? Well, just have a walker in the second phase, sit out the third one, and you can go wherever you want in the fourth phase. Boundaries now don't count for you anymore. Of course, the first thing I did was try to get to the edge of the map, but my team won too fast. Next round I immediately tried again and forgot halfway through that I needed to stay inside the AT-ST. But what do they say? Third time's the charm, and so I managed to get to the end of the map in my third attempt. I just want to emphasize again that you need 6 whole minutes to get there. There really isn't too much going on. It's mostly just snowy hills, except the floor got a bit odd in the end and glitched around in square tiles. If you try to walk off the edge as a soldier, you get stuck. And if you try it in the walker, it just won't do it, like if there's an invisible wall. Speaking of invisible walls, there's also one to the right of the rebel base, which I can't make sense of. Another one I found was on Agent Claws, which blocked the entrance to the cave and command post A for walkers. I'm sure there are many more, but I didn't bother to search for them. So now we know we can get out of bounds on Hoth, but are there any other maps? Let's set up some possible requirements a map must have for the bug to be viable. First, it must have a vehicle. Second, the vehicle mustn't be allowed in the last 2 phases. And third, the border for the vehicle mustn't move for the last 2 phases. With that I mean that maps like Agent Claws don't apply, where you shouldn't have a vehicle, but the map won't kill you if you move into the area of the next phase. And there's only one map I can think of which meets all the requirements. Naboo. After being kicked out for being AFK, winning too early and getting killed, I decided I needed better teammates. Jungs, ich brauche besser Battlefront-Spieler. Seid ihr dabei?
Dominik, wie du hier kommt so übermotiviert.
Bist du
Jungs,
dabei?
ich brauche bessere Battlefront-Spieler. Und ich denke mir, hä, wen sucht er?
Bist du dabei?
Mal gucken. Ja, vielleicht. Kommt drauf an.
Man sieht sich.
So, with my new highly skilled Battlefront mates, I once more took on the challenge. And it doesn't work on this map. At least now we know that the textures on the opposite riverside aren't high resolution. What a discovery. But wait, there's still hope, because maybe we have just overlooked a little asterisks by the requirements. Maybe we just have to play as the invaders. And after some more team play, it still didn't work. But hey, now we know that Battlefront 2 has the worst water physics since Trackmania Nations forever. I mean, look at this. This ain't water physics. Water does not behave like a trampoline. But I divagate. So, the asterisk requirement is false. Based on the newly gained knowledge, I updated the possible requirements completely. So, here they are. First, the map must have a vehicle. Second, the border for the vehicle mustn't move for the last 2 phases. And third, the vehicle has to be physically unable to get to the command post of the last 2 phases. Because on Naboo, you physically can get a speeder inside the palace. By the way, I also tried using a separatist tank instead of the speeder, and it still didn't work, so it's not like you have to use a tank class vehicle. And if we now take a look at the available maps in co-op, yes, I totally just ripped the page from Battlefront Wiki, and cross out the maps that don't meet the requirements, first all maps that don't have any vehicle, then the ones where you are not stopped by a border for the last 2 phases when using a vehicle, and then the ones, or rather the one, aka Naboo, where you are still physically able to get to the command post with a vehicle. There's only Hoth left. So in the end, I can't say if this is a systematic error and if my hypotheses for the requirements are correct, or if there aren't any, and Hoth is just a singular case where the devs forgot to set the ATST on the blacklist. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe even found it informative. Bid farewell, my valued viewers. Bye.